see, Jesse Jr. is a big fan of the parade and is a huge patriot. And stick around, because later we're sending Johnny to the beach to find out just how patriotic this younger generation is.
What?
It really was an all-American weekend. For the first time in a long time, we were able to celebrate like we always have. No masks, no social distancing, and no Dr. Fauci wagging his finger and barking orders. Just pure patriotism and the feeling of normalcy. Americans were loving it. We're ready to enjoy the summer. We're ready to get back to normal summertime activities, just like going to the movies. And Americans did that this weekend in record numbers to see the new Top Gun.
It was great. It was great. Yeah.
Pretty emotional, surprising. Ton of fun. She was making sounds like she was a kid. It was a blast.
This one actually lived up to it, I would say, with the characters, the action. It was really good. It felt like an old school movie where, you know, no special effects and just like real movie, real good characters.
These people certainly weren't alone. Americans across the nation came out in droves to see the sequel to the '86 classic and its unforgettable moments.
This is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby. Negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is full. No, ma'am. This is not a bad. Sorry, guys. It's time for budget talk.
The movie just oozes America. It's all about our military, our fighter pilots, and most of all, speed. Hear about ice? You want another one? Really? I feel the need for speed. Americans couldn't get enough of this flight back in '86. And 35 years later, we're still hooked. Now its sequel, Top Gun Maverick, is breaking records at the box office. People can't get enough of the high-octane action.
The end is inevitable, Maverick. The kind is headed for extinction.
Maybe so soon.
Remember when we were told that the pandemic probably killed the movie theater business? That people would never return to the box office again? Well, Tom Cruise refused to let it die, insisting on working through it.
Or you just keep working and keep working a film until it's just right.
Top Gun Maverick just totally resuscitated the industry. People didn't just show up to see the movie, they completely packed theaters, broke records. The film ended up bringing in $151 million just in the opening weekend. That's huge. In fact, this was Tom Cruise's biggest opening weekend of his entire career, which is saying something. Cruise starred in all the Mission Impossibles, War of the Worlds, A Few Good Men, Jerry Maguire, and this was his biggest opening ever. But it's not a coincidence. There's a reason for the film's success. There was no liberalism, no hidden agenda, just simply pro-American.
With all due respect, sir, I'm not a teacher. Just want to manage expectations.
Good morning, aviators. This is the captain speaking.
Top Gun, both the original and the sequel, made our military the star of the show. The film showcases the unmatched skill of our Navy fighter pilots, our flying aces, the best in the world. They're a salute to America and a slap to China. In Top Gun Maverick, the film's main character, Pete Mitchell, aka Maverick, was shown wearing his original bomber jacket with the flag of Taiwan still embroidered there on the back. This is a big deal, because when the trailer first came out a couple years ago, the flag was missing from the iconic jacket. Fans got mad at the apparent Chinese censorship, but when the movie hit the big screen this weekend, the flag was reinstated. Xi Jinping probably didn't like this very much, but who cares? The film's production team wasn't worried about bowing to China. Huh. And that's exactly how it should be. Hopefully, this is a sign that things are changing in Hollywood. This is the kind of stuff America's been missing these last few years. We've been longing to see a movie that's unapologetically American, and we finally got it. So don't listen to the left-wing media. They want you to think that the nation's divided, that we don't have any patriotism, and we hate America. But we couldn't be more wrong. This weekend was a breath of fresh air. Now let's keep it going. Christian Toto is the founder of Hollywood and Toto.com and author of Virtue Bombs, How Hollywood Got Woke and Lost Its Soul. So you're right here in this new piece, which is great. I have it here on Outcook. You say that Tom Cruise is apolitical. He doesn't lecture people, and he makes populist movies and understands what audiences crave. Did he deliver?
You know, he certainly did. I think he's a little bit like Clint Eastwood in a way, another icon who just knows what Americans want to see. Tom Cruise has that. It's the reason why he's been famous for so long. And you know, he's almost 60, and he's still as popular as he was 30 years ago. So he gets it. He really does. He knows that if you look at the Top Gun movie, you can't go wrong. You can't be hand-wringing all the time. You don't want that in this movie. And if you want to kind of question military authority, there's movies for that. It's perfectly fine. Not the Top Gun movie.
Did it honor the original, the 86 film?
You know, it really did in powerful ways. Not only just because it's a good movie and the aerial sequences are spectacular, but it has so many callbacks to the first film. Some are fun, and some are very emotional. You all know that the Val Kilmer you see in this movie. Of course, off screen he's had some health problems, so just seeing them here together on screen with Tom Cruise, it's just magic, and it's kind of a love in your throat moment.
A lot of people were crying. Men, Christian, were crying at the theater. Why was it so emotional?
Well, listen, this was an important movie for many people. We watched it years ago. It connects to our youth. Tom Cruise is ageless. He looks almost the same as he always has. So there's those reasons. But, you know, the characters that we grew up watching, when we see them again and they're honored in the right way, it's just special. It's, you know, listen, there's lots of nostalgia out there. Some of it's corny, some of it's hokey, some of it's very kind of shallow. This is not shallow. It's important. And, you know, pop culture does matter. That's why this movie, the way it's resonated, really does say something about the culture.
So what did this film, was it Paramount? Did they do that?
I believe so.
Okay, so Paramount didn't censor any of the China stuff that